Hey there, crew. Working through some little hiccups here, but Crystal Hive is live, and tonight's Friday, which means it's the Champions Challenge night. So, yes, I changed the title. It was Battle Royale, but you know, didn't want to take any sunshine away from the guys at Tabletop Royale, so we're now calling it the Champions Challenge. I am going to, in the meantime, give people a couple minutes to just log in. I'm probably just going to play a casual game here in the background while I wait for more viewers to join. But I was thinking about reviewing some of the spoilers for the next set. So I'll be doing that between matches tonight as well. Got a casual game going here for another deck that I'm testing for the Cote 8 or Coat 8, however you want to pronounce it. Seeing what I can do for the next round. I'm going to get that ugly chair out of the background here. We've been trying to find out a way to make this room dice making, and I just realized the chair was behind us. Our cat destroyed that desk chair, so it's seen better days. And that's why it lives in the office here. Go shadows. I want to get that Nexus off the board because Nexus is just going to abuse my flamethrower otherwise. So I'm going to go shadows. Start with the Trust No One. Then a Mug to hit Nexus for 2. It's a Pestering Blow to take him out, and drop in a Vinda. And for those that might forget how to challenge me, got a little scroller there right above my hand, so type exclamation fight. You got some alternative options for how to trigger that as well. You can use challenge, what is it, bring it on, throw down, any variation of that type of nonsense. I'm going to go ahead and call Dis because I want to Poltergeist and nuke that Amber Vault. I don't want to give them any more efficiency than I have. Now I'm thinking about it, I should move that scroller right in this area here. I might do that between matches. I gotta remind myself to do that, but that seems like a much better spot for it. Because if I have an artifact heavy deck, you're not gonna be able to see that Scrobbler. Or not Scrobbler, Scroller. Let's go with Shadows. Let's Chimera Eclipse and drop a Simon. Bum, 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 bum. And God, I'm stuck in twos. Triple twos all day. 222. Gwyn MD, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Crystal Hive. Boy. Let's go Brabnar, Flamethrower, drop an Alaka, and hit Alaka, make us both lose 2 amber. Not the best, but I want to see if they can go much higher over 6. That way I can drop this TMTP and then Kymore them off the board and get that amber off of Frayne. Drops a Snarette, so at very least I can get that Snarette and Scrivener off the board. Unfortunately, that Snarette's not gonna, have any amber. So I might just go Dis. I'm just gonna get some creatures on the board here. There's nothing I can do to stop that key, so there's no point in me holding on to some cards. And I draw into more TMTP. Good times. Now for higher level players, or players that just have seen too much to protect, played against them too much, they'll often just hit 6 amber and then end their turn because they don't want to hand their opponent any amber. And it seems like that's what my opponent's going to do. Especially when a list like mine has 2 TMTPs in it, most players are just gonna twirl their thumbs and just wait and concede that the game might go a little longer, but they'd rather the game go longer than me win more quickly. I am gaining nothing for amber. Go my turn. All right, well, let's go Dis for Lilithal to, let's go Eterome first. I'm gonna nuke the Snarette. Blast Shielding's an issue. I don't like Scrivener at all, so I'm going to have Lilithal fight and kill Scrivener, and then I'm going to drop Anguish. Just getting manhandled here. Okay. I guess I could go Volcano. This is a tough choice. So, I mean, Into the Night's going to do absolutely nothing because their board's built out of shadows, and they're going to want to fight Masis Asp into probably Anguish just to kill him from the poison. So if I go Brabnar and call Volcano, or call Brognar and play Volcano. I'm going to kill their board. Anguish will have 4 on them. They're going to gain 1 number. I'll gain 2. So I'll just go ahead and do that. It's Volcano. And the turn. They clear my Anguish. They're probably going to stop right at 6 here. Yep. Well, I'm just going to concede. I'm curious how their deck's ranked. Because I'm playing a 62. Yeah, I was playing against a 70. So, I mean, that was very lopsided for a reason. OG Zero Day, welcome to the Psychic Network. Leave game. All right, I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting for everyone to pop over here. So I am going to... Ooh, that white on white looks a little weird. Whatever. I'm going to start reviewing some spoilers for the next set. How many do we have? 78 cards. All right. Let's see. I mean, we all know what the Tide card is. So we're just looking at a big old Tide card here. Ooh, yeah, everyone's text is invisible when I do this. Oops. Hey, Orion, how's it going? That's right. I was gonna do some quick editing here. There. Let's pop the now playing right there. This guy around. Get that little scroller out of the way. Squeeze it right there. All right, that should all move around nicely. Chat's gonna be a little weird to look at while I'm reviewing these cards, but it is what it is. Pop it over here. There we go. Let's get started on spoilers. So, for those that don't know, set 5, Dark Tidings. Man, I've got a very ADD brain right now, and I am pasty white, and my white shirt does not help. What if I change this to dark theme? It's on dark theme. Okay. All right. Whatever. I'm destined to look pale. Dark Tidings set 5 is set to release in the United States on March 12th. So in exactly 1 month. scrolling, but it's stuck on a pretty good message. So type fight to challenge me. Let's go Armadrone. So a couple things I'm looking at when I'm reviewing these. I want to look at the art. I mean, a huge part of a card game is the art. One of my favorite parts of Keyforge is that they have such a wide range of artists. So they, like, generally each artist kind of specializes in a style for a house. So generally the artists, at least that I've noticed, that draw for, say, Brobnar, aren't also drawing for logos, because they're generally an artist that isn't specializing in doing mechanical, electronic, sci-fi art. There's obviously going to be exceptions to that, but I just love looking at the art. And in the first one, Armadrone, it looks like, I mean, some of these are blurry because they're screen captures from videos. They're also screen captures from announcement articles from Fantasy Flight. Not all of these spoilers are actually official spoiler releases. All those disclaimers out of the way. Armadrone looks like he's just throwing a whole bunch of amber and money and just crap all over the place, and has the effect Fight Steel 2 Amber, Power 3, 0 Armor, and House Logos Creature. Looks like they have the trait Robot, and this is an Evil Twin. So all of that given, I feel the 3 power with non-skirmish is going to be a little rough. Is that what it is? Oh yeah, now that I look at it, he definitely did burst through a window. Okay, so those are all glass shards. Definitely good call. So with that new insight, doesn't change my opinion on the card. Just makes me actually like the art more. I do think that the 3 power with no skirmish is going to be a little rough. So this is going to be a creature that isn't going to steal often, is mostly going to be a reap target, but if your opponent has a lot of elusives, this would be a great card to try and protect on the board, to just dump into elusives, take 0 damage in return, but still fight and steal 2 amber. Past that, it's not really an in-depth card, so there's not much else to talk about. So we'll just loop on to the next one. And we're looking at Captain Krasage. This is in Polish, so no way I'm gonna read that, so let's find the English translation. But what I do know is Logos, hunting what look like the Moor Wolves from Untamed. Power 6, 0 armor. It is a cyborg creature. In-house logo, so all these are Logos cards for now. Its ability is all creatures lose elusive, taunt, poison, and skirmish. Excuse me, it's been a very busy week, very long day, so I'm winding down and my body's finally relaxing. The ability, so this is kind of like a more powerful reskinned Niffleape. So Niffleape ignores elusive and taunt, but this creates the ability for all creatures to just lose those traits. So while this creature's on the board, taunts don't exist, elusive doesn't exist, poison and skirmish don't exist. We'll see if some of these spoiled cards get to it too, but Unfathomable is going to focus on the poison trait on quite a few creatures that I've seen. So it'll be interesting to see how Captain Krasage kind of counters that new entrance to the meta. Poison's always been around since Coda, Call of the Archons, but I think Unfathomable is going to make it a, not central mechanic, but definitely a secondary or tertiary mechanic. So to have a hard counter to that, we'll see how easy it is to keep these Logos creatures on the board. This one kind of in English, but can't really see the full card. We're looking at Old Egad. It's an evil twin. So far all of these have been evil twins. The artwork is okay. I guess I forgot to talk about the artwork on Captain Corsage. I just think the art on Captain Corsage is hilarious. Like, these Moorwolves are just running for their lives, and then this buddy right in the front's like, what the fuck is your problem? Leave us alone. I do think the art of Captain Corsage here in the back is awesome. I don't know why the Moorwolves are the focus of this art, though. I would have liked to have seen Captain Corsage more of the focus here. But I'm also not an artist, so I can be as critical as I want. I cannot draw any of this stuff anyway, so it's safety and naivety, right? Old Egad. The art just looks boring. Like, Old Egad, I don't know. Old Egad is just, it looks like art of all the other cyborgs and all the other robots. Which, I mean, I get that it's supposed to be themed and it's supposed to fit the same house. It just seems like I've seen this before, so I want something unique. Yeah, and Orion brings up a good point that these are all the evil twin arts, so we don't know what their non-evil twins, so what their baseline art is going to look like, unless they're also in this list. So right now, for the cards that I've looked at, we're looking at the evil twin. We do have the non-evil twin Captain Corsage, so I'll get to that in a second. So that'll be at least nice to see both of them. Next one. Another evil twin card. We are looking at P.I. Sweven, or Pi Sweven, however you want to pronounce it. It's a Logos creature, power 2, 0 armor, a human and scientist. It's the evil twin version. It's a reap effect. So for those that have not looked at any Dark Tiding spoilers, this symbol right here is going to confuse the fuck out of people, and I know that there's going to be a ton of questions on here. There's going to be a ton of questions about, what does this symbol mean? What does it do? Why is it there? Disclaimer, it does nothing. It has no bearing on the game mechanics. The point of this symbol is a visual cue to remind people that this reap effect has something to do with the tide level. So all this is a visual cue to look at this card and say, oh shit, okay, I need to pay attention to the tide level to make sure this effect does what I want. So if something happens with the tide, Pi Sweven has a reap effect. If the tide is high, your opponent discards a random card from their hand. And the flavor text says, that gorgeous idiot will never catch me. That has to be, that's going to be my new forum quote in my signature. I love this art. It kind of has a Shadows feel to it. Like the creature has a Shadows feel to it, but the background is all Logos, so I really like that cool blend. I have no idea what this item that they're holding is, but it would be cool if this was an artifact or an upgrade or something in the game, either in this set or later. Not quite sure. I mean, so this comes to the debate of the tide and how long and how effective the tides are going to be. We have no idea what's going to happen with the tide levels in this next set until people start getting decks and start playing. But I do think this is a great card effect, especially in Logos, because Logos is not usually known for their disruption, and discard has always been like a dis or shadows thing. So it's interesting to see this type of mechanic popped into Logos as an evil twin. So given my bias toward playing Dis and Shadows, both houses I really enjoy, I really like this Reap effect, and I like that it's restricted to High Tide, so it's not something that's always going to trigger. I think that makes it more quote-unquote fair. One second, sorry, I got a whole bunch of crap popping up here. Yep, Discord starting and popping over my other screen. Close that. We're gonna close Discord. You get to see all my apps I have running in the background. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go back to spoilers. Before I go any farther, I am using, for those that are curious and how I'm seeing all these spoilers, I'm using Archon Arcana, or Archon Arcana, however you want to pronounce it. I say Arcana. I also say Chasm, which my wife gives me so much shit for. But whatever, we're not here to talk about that. Archon Arcana, for those that are better speakers than me, I guess, is an awesome resource for Keyforge knowledge. It's set up like a wiki page, so you can access, if I pull over the side panel here, and by the way, they have no idea I'm pitching their website, so give them some love. They have not asked me to do any of this. I just, it's the best way to look at all these spoilers right now, instead of just going to everyone's pages all at once. It's set up like a wiki, so you can look at rules outlines, the timing chart if you're in the middle of a game and not quite sure when something will trigger. Going to time, so the current tiebreaker rules, card gallery, spoilers, all kinds of recent changes for FAQs, erratas, everything. So when I'm bored on normal Wikipedia, I usually just hit random page. You can do that here as well, and it'll give you a page about a card or a house or anything. All right, let's just move on. Let's keep going. It is currently fight night for a little pitch there. It is the Champions Challenge. So type !fight. It's going to cost 50 channel points, totally negligible, but puts you in the queue, and you get to pick the format and how we are going to duel each other. Let's see, Captain Crisage, the non-evil twin version, is a cyborg 6 power, 0 armor, House Logos. While you control another creature with elusive, taunt, poison, or skirmish, Captain Crisage gains that keyword. Okay. Interesting. So that's going to be a very... Ooh. With Flavor Texas, we can learn so much from our animal friends. That's true. Very true. The interesting part about this card, at first glance, I love the artwork. Awesome, awesome artwork. So the artist is Colin Searley. Great work on that. The effect, it's a persistent effect, so there's no trigger, there's no bolded text. It's a persistent effect that's going to be tricky for persistent board state. Both players are responsible for maintaining board state, so it's not just the player who owns Captain Crisage or the player that controls Captain Crisage. Both players are responsible for maintaining board state. So this is going to be a card that you need to be aware of all of the keywords that you or your opponent's creatures have in order to keep a legal board. I have a feeling that at casual play, players are going to mess this card up a lot. in competitive play, it's going to be a card that probably makes or breaks a player's game. It's a pretty strong statement from me, but I think this is going to be one of those board state cards that you really need to know what keywords are on what cards in this set. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you need to be aware of what keywords are on your cards and your opponent's cards at all times if Captain Corsage ever hits the table. We'll leave it at that. It's back. Oh, we're on the second row. Static Charge. Get no view of the art because this is an upgrade and it's being shown currently under what looks like old Egad, I think was his name. Has a bonus amber. Excuse me. Static Charge, since I can't read it. The creature gains, or this creature gains, at the start of your turn. And then we can't see the rest of it. Let me see if I can figure that out. It looks like at the start of your turn, deal 1 damage, and then I cannot read the rest. So not much I can say about this card, so we're just going to move on. Tide Warp. First take on art, that's okay. The robots in the front just kind of remind me of Mystery Science Theater. Just the hecklers in the middle of the movies. But Tide Warp is an artifact with 1 bonus amber, and it's considered a power trait or power card. And again, this symbol just means this ability relates to tide. So at the start of your turn, if the tide is high, your opponent raises the tide. Otherwise, you raise the tide. Okay, so what this does, or sorry, flavor text, intriguing result. Let's do it again. The effect of this is while Tide Warp is on the board, the active player is always under high tide. Well, actually not all, no, I'm totally confusing myself. Interesting. So as long as you currently have low tide, the active player gains high tide. Which is interesting too, because now that I'm reading it, this might be a card that people get confused about. So if I start my turn, I have high tide, and then it's the start of my turn. I go into low tide because my opponent raises the tide. Conversely, when it becomes my, or not conversely, but by extension, when it becomes my opponent's turn, they can keep the high tide. So, yeah, that's interesting. I think this is going to be a very weird card that's going to take some time to learn, and is completely going to depend on how your deck uses tide versus how your opponent's deck uses tide. And Orion says in his invisible white text, good in dark tiding versus dark tiding, not good versus old sets. Yeah, I agree, because when you start your turn, if you have high tide, this is going to put you into low tide. Unless you have cards that then raise the tide again. This is going to give your non-dark tidings opponent a way to gain a high tide and change the tide without ever having to take chains. So I do think this is going to be probably a clutch card in certain decks in certain situations, but probably not played too often, and it's also a rare. So be curious to see how often this sees play in higher tier play. Then we're going to go to Binary Moray. This is in Polish, it looks. I can't tell what language it is. It's just not in my my language of English. The art is cool. Okay, there's beaming off binary, which goes by the title of the card. Yeah, I mean the Tide Warp is a really good target for Snecklifter, for Borrow. Poltergeist wouldn't trigger it because it would attempt to use it, but it's not a used effect, it's a persistent effect. Yeah, so anything that uses the artifact would have no impact, but anything that could steal it would be awesome. Should probably go back to the English and actually learn what the card does. Let's see. So the English is, so it's a creature in Logos, power 5, 0 armor, and it's an AI and a beast. Interesting. Okay, so first effect after you raise the tide, ready binary moray. So that's a cool mid-turn effect you can use. And after your opponent raises the tide, exhaust binary moray. Oof, okay. So immediate anti-synergy here between Tide Warp and binary moray. So if you ever start your turn with high tide, yeah, like it's weird because so if on your turn, if you've got high tide and you start your turn, then your opponent raises the tide. So after your opponent raises the tide, you exhaust binary moray. And then when it would become the start of your turn again, binary moray, you'd gain the tide back and get high tide, and then the moray would ready again. So it depends on what interactions there are with exhausted creatures in this set, but that's just going to be a very clunky thing to keep track of. It's like, okay, you gain tide, exhaust. I gain tide, ready. You gain tide, exhaust. So it'd be just something to keep track of. But then it goes reap, archive a card, which is cool. I'm always a fan of things that allow you to archive. Forgive or forget. Logos action. Play effect to choose one. Archive 2 cards of different types from your archive. Oh my god. Blah, let's try that again. From your discard pile. Or purge up to 2 cards from each discard pile. Okay. So if you choose the purge option, you must purge 2 cards from your discard pile and your opponent's discard pile. If you're playing the multiplayer variant, then you're hitting yours for 2 and then every single other player for 2. But then also you're getting crazy archive recursion with Forgive or Forget. And it's not even just put it in your hand, so there is a bit of a delay, but because you're archiving it, you can set up for your next house that you intend to play, or for a combo that you intend to play, and just archive them so you're not crippling your hand for the redraw. I love this card. Orion says, woof, that looks gross. The different types is very important here. So you can't just grab a Brig combo. You can't just, because they're both actions. But you could grab, this goes to some testing that Orion and I were doing the other day. You could grab a Glimmer and a Key Charge. You could grab, I mean, obviously, as long as they're 2 different types. So you got, how many types of cards are there? There's actions, creatures, upgrades, artifacts. So you can, wide variety, whoever wants to crunch those numbers. I'm not going to try and embarrass myself on stream, but quite a few different pairings of how you can choose those cards too. I'd say of the cards I've looked at so far, Forgive or Forget is my favorite. Okay. I'm gonna pop the just chatting for now. We'll come back to some Sanctum spoilers in a little bit, but I've not had a single challenger tonight. What's up? What's up, kids? Sure. I've got nothing but time. I mean, I'm just killing stream time while I'm waiting for challengers. I am going to ride this format out for the rest of the month, but I'm thinking Friday nights are a rough stream or rough time for people to watch streams. So I'm dancing with the idea of taking this format onto Saturdays and then making Friday my free play day. So I'm probably going to post a poll about that in the next week or so and see what people think about it. You are lurking, Mark. You're not even in my stream viewers list. How are you doing that? You're ghosting. I see how it is. But also, it's not just Orion's and Mark's I cannot talk today. I've been on the phone and doing meetings all week, and I think my brain is just like, you're done talking, just stop. Yeah, but it's not the responsibility of just Orion and Mark to challenge me. I know that Jupiter kicked my ass on stream last week, so that was a welcome but unwelcome experience. But any challengers, honestly, any level of player new to competitive, I welcome the challenge. I mean, I don't know how sneaky you are, Mark. You didn't even know that you had 2 Discord accounts. Just shots fired, shots fired. I'm not going to show you guys what I'm playing in the background here, but I am going to tell you I'm queuing for a format I almost never play, just to entertain myself. But I am, or I guess we are, well on the way to my 100 follower / subscriber benchmark. I've got 85 followers and 6 subscribers, so fuck yeah. And I'm looking for 100 followers, so 15 more. And I'll be raffling off one unopened deck from my collection from each set. So one from Call of the Archons, one from Age of Ascension, one from Worlds Collide, and one from Mass Mutation. And each deck, I'm just going to randomly grab one. I'm not going to try and filter what their SAS is and what houses they are, anything. I'm just going to randomly grab one. That's not to say they are all bad because they're unopened. Some of my decks, I don't open them because I just play them online and haven't unwrapped them to play in person. So it could be a pretty good deck. Could be a royal stinker that you're going to save for reversal. Yeah, but I kind of want to call you Orion now. You're making it hard on me, man. You're making it really hard on me, man. I guess I could also talk about the Cote or the Cote 8. So Mark, Orion, and I are all teammates, and we decided to join a team league for once. We were all in a local play group, and life has taken us apart. It's torn us away from each other. But we decided to play remotely and join a team. It's been interesting so far. Seen a lot of really weird but cool decks, which is really the intention of this league's format. Every round, the SAS limit of the decks goes up by 2. And we started at 60, so next week we'll be at 62. Careful, everybody. Goober just got home. I mean, that's true. We are lucky that we live in a world where we can just hop online and play games with each other or chat whenever we feel like it. I'm just imagining of trying to go through all this bullshit of quarantine, like Spanish flu era. Do. Alright, so I am just playing a quick match here. Oh, shit. I queued casual and I'm playing an 80. I'm that guy, or I think it's a 78. I am being that guy. Oops. That's not the deck I chose, though. Whatever. Fucking go with it. Let's go Logos. Doc booked in. Sure, stay in Logos because they hit me with a Mark of Dis. Let's reap, draw a card. Let's sloppy lab work. Let's archive Nature's Call and discard. I'm gonna discard. This is gonna feel bad. Fuck it, I'm gonna discard Effervescent. I am a monster. I am the demon that I curse. What? Goober Bunny's been here for 2 months. She just shrugs at me. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Now here's the question. Do I Coward's End this? I think I do. Let's go Brobnar. Not going to take my archives. I'm going to Coward's End. I'm going to Smash, who's just going to stun himself. Rogue Ogre, and Smith to put me in check at 6 of 6. Let's go Untamed. Yes to my archives. This is going to be gross. Let's go Hunting Witch. Hunting Witch. Snufflegator. This is going to be so gross. Flaxia. Hunting Witch first, then Hunting Witch, then Flaxia. Nature's Call. do they have any large steel? They don't. So let's bounce Snufflegator. Let's bounce Flaxia and a Hunting Witch. Drop them all again and be that asshole in a casual game. We are at 20 amber toward my first key. Let's go blue key. They're gonna make me pay 8 for it. I don't have any crazy tricks in Untamed. I could reap with things. Snufflegator could take out Pismire. I'm going to be doing a lot of fighting in this one just to keep the board small. So I'm going to go Brobnar, actually. Bumpsy, make them lose an amber. Double Hunting Witch. Let's go Smash. Double Hunting Witch. Let's stun Snarette. Drop Crump, double Hunting Witch, and remove the stun on Smash. Check at 17. Red key. This, I never get things to line up like this in competitive queues. I guess I just need a queue for casual and be that jerk. Snufflegator is just going to kill Snarette. Hunting Witch will reap. Flaxia will reap. Flaxia will give me more amber. Dust Pixie will give me more amber, as will Murmook. And let's Life Web. Checkmate at 21. And there's the crazy Logos nonsense. At most, they can play Rad Penny here. And I guess they could Ransack for a couple amber. They did get rid of my Hunting Witch. Gee. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad. I honestly do feel really bad. I was not playing a casual deck. I don't know what happened because I was queued for a competitive match. And I had that Lightsmith of Bulwark selected. But then I stopped the queue, queued for casual, clicked a different deck, and then Lightsmith still loaded. And ouch is right. Interesting. Well, then why am I in this game? What is going on? Hold on. I just backed out and I left that game. I have no clue what was happening. I mean, you watched me play another game, and I'm been sitting in this queue, and my opponent's like, "Are you still there?" Whatever. I'm going to keep. It's a pretty decent starting hand, and I'm not going to stream this game because I want to entice people to challenge me. Let's go Shadows. Drop the Sting. Relentless Whispers. Kill that daughter. Let's Ghostly Hand and play a bad penny. Mimicry. What do they mimicry? Okay, Relentless Whispers. Sure, let's go Shadows again. Let's drop Bullet Eye, Moon Cursor, and both bad pennies again. I'll keep the Sting for now because I don't know how quick my opponent's deck can go. This deck doesn't really need the Sting, but it's a really nice help if my opponent has a fast deck. They killed the Sting for me, so that's fine. Let's go, I'm gonna go Logos. Anomaly Exploiter, let's play Quixo. Let's go Twin Bolt to hit those. Actually, I'm gonna hit a bad penny. It's gonna clog up my hand just a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Gargantodon. I'm also okay with Gargantodon being there. So I'm going to go Logos. Quixo's going to fight into Ludo. Exploiter to kill him. Let's go Dexter. And Titan the Mechanic. The question is, do I kill Gargantodon? I think I save this BDQ. I know people joining the stream are like, why is he talking through turns and we can't see shit? Well, it's because I'm gonna keep this game private. Duh. Gotta have a challenger before I start showing what I'm playing. I do have a lot more spoilers to look at though too, so I might do that. Let's go Shadows. I'm going to have Moon Cursor fight Gargantodon. Because he wasn't going to do any damage to Senator Strix or Tribune Pompatus. I'm then going to Bullet Eye to kill Pompatus. Reap with Bad Penny. Poison Wave's going to hurt me pretty bad. But it's at least going to get Senator Strix damaged. And then I'll ditch my bad pennies, and then I'll drop a Dodger. So now I've got a damage on Strix that I can use Exploiter to kill her. Dodger can fight to kill her. So my keys went from cost 5 to cost 7 because Murmuk killed my Mechanic. Pretty a good Brobnar line here. Forge the blue key. I'm gonna go Brobnar. Let's drop Crump and Fire Spitter. I've got 2 Angers in hand. So I think the right thing to do here is Anger Crump to kill let's kill Shrix, right? Is that the right one to do? Nah, I'll kill Murmook. And I'm gonna Anger Dodger. Have Dodger fight Shrix and steal 1. I'm at check at 6. Dropping a whole bunch of dinosaur nonsense. And I forge. They are on check to their first key. Nothing elusive, so Crump can't take them off the key. Dodger can't fight. So let's go Brobnar again. I'm going to have Crump Reap. Fire Spitter is going to fight Flaxia, ping all those wards off, and then Headhunter's just going to come out to play. So for everyone watching, if you look right down there, this whole area, type !fight, challenge me to a match, see what you can do. Go Logos. Let's have Quixo fight the Legionary. Let's Exploiter to take that Legionary out. Drop a Dexter. Drop another Quixo, a Ganymede Archivist. I think this is a pretty good time to BDQ. So let's hit Shrix. Let's take out my Dodger. Repeat it. Let's take out Edai. And take out my... I'll take out my Fire Spitter. And we'll stop there. Okay, they drop a Titan Guardian. Is this weird to watch while I'm not even showing it? Just, dude, he's just sitting here talking to himself. Oh damn, we got a challenger. I need to set up a alert that when someone types fight, it just goes ding 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 ding. The challenger has entered. Let's go Logos. Let's Quixo fight Titan Guardian, draw a card. Let's Exploiter, kill him before he can get any cards there. It's Reap and Archive Crump. Let's drop a CKM. And let's just play Graft for shits and giggles to get me at 7 of 6. Hey, you chose to be friends with me, man. You're as guilty as I am. But I mean, Goober can attest to it. I talk to myself quite a bit. $64s. All right. It's going to take me a little bit to fish out a deck, but I will find a 64. Any other restriction other than SAS? I'm going to go Brobnar. Let's drop a cannon. Heeb the Huge. Headhunter is gonna fight Jargoggle, who's elusive. What? Is he elusive? What just happened there? How? The card itself is elusive. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, Crump. Valder. Alright, well, they earned that key because I wasn't paying attention. So just a 64. Let me see what I can pull up. My collection. Constraints. Let's go maximum 64. I have 175 decks to pick from. We'll see how long it takes me to grab one. At this point, I think I'm gonna finish this match. Let's just go Brobnar. Let's drop Loot the Bodies. War Song. Put out a Valder. So Crump is going to, actually, sorry. Headhunter is gonna fight Jargoggle. I'm gonna use War Song, so he gives me 2. I'm kind of worried about what might be under Jargoggle here. So I'm gonna kill Rustnar, trigger War Song, and Loot the Bodies. Let's go. Valder is going to fight and kill Eldest Bear, trigger War Song, and Loot the Bodies. Cannon. I'm just gonna have Cannon hit Ghost Hawk, and Crump is gonna fight Jargoggle. Let's see. Let's just trigger Jargoggle first, I guess, and then War Song, Loot the Bodies. And call that end turn, checkmate at 12. Let's get back to looking at 64s. So the funny thing is, I've got 2 pretty decent 64 decks, and both of them have Mars. It's just a matter of what I want to play in Mars. I think we'll go with that deck. I think I've played this on stream a few times, actually. And I learned how to properly pronounce it. It's a new game, mute spectators, private requires a link. Let's hop over here. There's the link for you, Orion. For 64s, I have one I really, really like. The second one I need to test some more. The one that I really like is the one that I'm playing right now. close that, minimize, we're good. I'm actually going to put the stream up now that I'm actually fighting somebody. Good old Orion has challenged me. I am going first. I probably should also put like a rules of engagement. If you're going to fight me in the Champions Challenge nights, please mute your screen and minimize. That being said, I'm going to go Mars and drop Zorg. So I'm playing Slug Daughter. I always pronounce this Slug Dotir, but Dottir is pronounced daughter, if you did not know that. So Slug Daughter, the ruler chief. It's a Brobnar Dis Mars from Call of the Archons. Brobnar's pretty gross with fighting. There's a lot of action cheating I can do with Mars if I get that Compod out early. So I'm gonna go Brobnar. Let's drop this Grenade Snib. Let's drop my Rogue Ogre. I'm just gonna Tremor that Dendrix. And I'm gonna Anger my Zorg so he is no longer stunned. Mana Dork, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Crystal Hive. Yep, every Friday night I am here, 5 to 8 Mountain Time, whatever the time that is for you locally. And then I stream midday on Saturdays from noon to 3 on Mountain Time as well. Let's see. Challenge me. You look at I gotta orient myself here. Look over there. Yeah, I'm pointing a little, there we go. Right there, that scroller. If you type !fight, it's 50 channel points, so you should have enough just by following me, but you can challenge me to a match of a format of your choice. And I'm gonna go Mars. Zorg is going to fight and stun the whole board over there. Drop another Zorg. Drop a Dominator. And let's Squawker. Ooh, I can't play actions. They played stealth mode. Okay. I'm going to stop there. And as Mark said, welcome, Manadork. How long have you been playing Keyforge? Yep, I'm in MST. Mountain Standard Time. So it's currently 6:15 local time. About a little under 2 hours left in my stream tonight. New to Keyforge. Well, welcome. Double welcome. Everyone has to start somewhere, right? TCO is kind of its own beast, but to help you learn the game, I would say it's not amazing because it does automate a lot of things, but just to get reps in and to just see how your decks play, it's really great. For anyone new to the game and learning the game, I always recommend play in person to learn it. Even if you're playing against yourself, you remind yourself of all the triggers and the persistent effects you need to remind yourself of. So it's much better for you long term if you learn to play in person. Go Mars, remove the Hidden Stash, Dusk Runner, and Chimer. Okay, and you're a mountain folk. What? Well, welcome. I'm gonna play an Incubation Chamber. Zorg is going to Reap. I'm going to Jammer Pack my Rogue Ogre. I'm just looking at how many creatures they have. So they've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 creatures. So ammonia clouds would be a waste for me to pitch. I do have general board presence. I'm going to get rid of the ammonia clouds. And I'm going to Squawker, Zorg, and Reap. Ooh, Arizona Mountain Time. Okay, I'm based in Colorado. There's so much truth to that though, Manadork. Like the tactile feel of shuffling your cards. Sometimes if I'm feeling really fidgety and having like a really anxious day, I'll just take a deck of cards and just keep shuffling it. And it's just like, ah, the world is okay. I'm going to go Robnar, drop that sweet, sweet Screech Bomb. Let's Incubation Chamber my Blipip. My Rogue Ogre is going to fight Infernus. And I think right now, I just push my board. I'm not too concerned about Rogue Ogre being healed just yet. But I'm building this sweet, sweet, sweet archives of Martians with the Incubation Chamber for when my Compod hits the table. And anti-daylight saving stance. Yeah, isn't Arizona the only state in the United States that has chosen, you know what, that daylight saving bullshit, we're not doing it. 3 cards in my my purge pile. What are you doing? Oh, don't you dare hawk it. Okay, I hawked my Screech Bomb. Well, I'm gonna have to go Dis to Incubation Chamber my Bolter. Let's Schuler. Ember Imp. Discard pile. I only have... Ooh. Arise isn't worth it right now. Pandemonium. Sure. Yeah, because I couldn't play any other creatures. I do have 3 Arise, so this one's worth just getting rid of. So he's going to beat me to a key. God, I love this card. We Can All Win is such a good card. So it makes the all key cost down by 2 until the end of his turn. So I don't benefit. And he played it at a really great time because I couldn't forge as part of that. Yeah, Mark and I went to the Denver Vault tour and had an awesome time. I had one bad interaction with an individual, but it's okay because they didn't make the top 16. They placed 17 and missed the cut, and I just laughed my ass off. They know who they are. But everyone else at the Vault tour was amazing. Everyone that I've met through this community is really great. I'm going to call Robnar. Not take my archives. Crump. Let's drop a smash. Let's stun Ortanu, Valder, Fire Spitter, sorry, Troll. I don't have any Mars creatures, unfortunately, so Fire Spitter's gonna reap, Crump's gonna reap. Check at 7. There's my 2 Arise. So, yay! Ugh. Arise can happen pretty nicely where I can call my Mars creatures and then incubation chamber one back. The annoying thing is I have not seen my compod yet. And this board does a really good job, or this deck does a really good job of maintaining board presence. So I don't want to get too fancy. I want to just abuse what I have. So I'm going to forge my blue key. I don't want to allow him to build a board because he has to call Dis to Wretched Doll my Ember Imp, but otherwise if I allow him to fight, he can have a better turn. So I want to try and keep him in this lock. So I'm going to call Brobnar. I'm not going to take my archives. I'm going to incubate my Dominator. Crump is going to fight Kirby, make him lose an Amber. And I'm okay with Valder also fighting Ortanu, and then Valder's gonna die, so I'm just then going to... I can't reap? Oh, Inky Gloom. That makes sense. Doip. Okay. Is that what round was that at the Vault Tour, Mark? I know Goober doesn't play competitively, but Goober loves to travel and hang out at the tournaments. So remember there was a round or two where you were done before me and just hanging out. And absolutely, Manadork, this is an amazing community. So I really love... Excuse me, I love the people, and the content creators are great. I'm gonna guess that it was Destiny? Was it Star Wars Destiny? Alright, I'm going House Dis, not taking my archives. I am going to Arise Mars to incubate Zorg, drop a Dominator Bauble. Charette's useless right now, but I'm going to drop a Toxin. I'm going to Mind Barb, make him discard a Kirby. Schuler's going to Reap. So he did play a turn where he played Dis, so he was able to Wretched Doll, get rid of that. Now the fun thing is, do I Arise Dis and drop that Ember Imp again? Because I think I do. And end turn. Yes. There's the Compod. So now I want to get my Mars up and running and turn it all online. Oh no! He's gonna... No! He's gonna use his Harbinger to just nuke the board. So what's gonna be best here? What's gonna give me the most Amber this turn? Grenade Snib's gonna make him lose 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Brobnar's just gonna give me 6 outright. This is gonna make him discard a card. Mars, I can do some weird stuff, but I don't want to drop my Mars right now, so I'm gonna call Brobnar and not take my archives. I'm going to incubate my Dominator. I'm going to drop a Grenade Snib because it's going to make him lose Amber. So let's Reap, 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 and Reap. Check at 9. What's Argent Saga? I've heard of the Warcraft TCG. Never played it, but heard of it. Final Fantasy TCG I've heard of. Dragonborn I've heard of. Force of Will has always intrigued me, but with it being a CCG slash TCG, I'm not really interested in buying into that. I don't have the disposable income on top of Keyforge. I already go hog wild with Keyforge. Forge Yellow, Weezand is going to gain 2 for him. Ooh, does he have a key cheat? No. So what's going on? So I still don't want to drop Mars because the moment I drop Mars, he's going to nuke Harbinger. So I think if I go Mars, let me still go Mars, but I'm not going to take my archive because I'm going to drop Compod. I'm going to put a jammer pack on Troll. Zorg is going to fight Weezand and stun all of those, and then I'm going to Squawker to ready and reap with Zorg, and that puts me at checkmate 6 of 6. Well, so Force of Will is a Korean published game, isn't it? I know it's an Eastern published game. So I know they do their collectible card games differently than us consumerist assholes in the United States. I know Magic the Gathering is so expensive because of the secondary market, but also the rarity. Let's see. Keyforge is very healthy. There's going to be bullshit people who are like, oh, the game is doomed, it's dying, blah, 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 blah. I mean, what in-person game right now is not dying because of COVID? GG. Japanese, okay. Yeah, I knew it was some Eastern publisher. I just wasn't sure what country. I'm sorry I had to do it live on stream there, Orion, but that Ember Imp just fucked you up, and it was awesome. Yeah, that Ember Imp destroyed you. Me being able to ride that out until you wretched dolled it, and then just arise it back. Did you like that little sneaky trick? I hope you're unmuted, otherwise I'm talking to nobody. Let's see. Argent Saga. I'm gonna have to look that up later. Well, and if the game quote-unquote is dead, that makes it a pretty nice, what's the word? Makes for a really nice secondary purchase, I guess. So you're buying it when the game's not fully supported, so people are just going to offload it. Oh yeah. I saw your Kirby's, and my immediate thought was if I can get that Ember Imp to stick to the board, I might be able to just ride this game out playing Brobnar Dis, which I was, and I was debating playing my Mars. And as I was getting ready to drop my Mars, you dropped the Harbinger with the Wretched Doll on it. So I didn't want to commit my Mars to have it all die. Even though I could get a really nice turn out of it, it would be a single turn because you just nuke the board immediately. As you can tell, Slug Daughter absolutely manhandles boards. So if I'm allowed to keep a board, excuse me, if I'm allowed to keep a board with Slug Daughter, I can punish you pretty hard because I can keep the Ember Imp out with Arise. I can draw my Schuler back, my Charette back. That triple Arise is awesome. I definitely don't need to pick up another card game, but I will definitely put Argent Saga, there it is, Argent Saga on my list of to watch for like crazy good sales. At the very least, it would be another game for Goober Bunny and I to play. All right, so honest feedback, Orion. What did you think of Slug Daughter? Do you think that one's, worth me continuing to test, or should I test the other one? Okay, good. It's the external thumbs up from someone else. At times when I'm trying to pick a deck, I'm worried that I'm just super biased because I really like that deck. It's my favorite high creature count deck. Let me pull its stats up here. I'm gonna be super pale while I talk through it. So I've got Slug Daughter. It's a 64. Pretty significant anti-synergy. I like my anti-synergy to be 0. But if you look at it, the anti-synergies, you're looking at ammonia clouds. So I have a lot of power 3 or less, or power 3 or lower creatures. Arise. Low creature count? Fuck that. I think the intention behind the low creature count is I don't have a lot of dis creatures, so I do have to arise out of house. And then the other nick against anti-synergy is just that I have multiple arises. You know what, Goober, that's fair. I am always very pale. I mean, it may not look like it, but I am wearing a shirt. Getting used to playing Keyforge and how to decide what decks to play. I like to read out loud, so oops. Oh yeah, so I'll give you my spiel. I am not a fan of SAS other than it being a very, very surface level snapshot of competitively what does this deck look like. I like to think of the SAS score as how easily does this deck win. So generally the higher the SAS, the easier the deck has, easier chance the deck has of winning against an average deck. Now it starts getting really complicated when you jump into, pop off that screen for now. It gets really complicated when you start playing higher SAS decks against other higher SAS decks, as you will find in competitive play. These are all like the comparison toward an average deck. So an average deck is in the 60s. Most of if you buy a full display box, which honestly, if you're playing this competitively, the best way to gain decks is just buy display boxes. You're guaranteed at least one really good deck in that box, usually 2, and then the rest are average, couple really far below that, but most average to above average. As you're playing, you're going to get a better feel for what type of deck you play. I'm a disruption player, so in any card game that allows milling, I'm a filthy mill player. So mill doesn't exist in Keyforge, so instead I play disruption. So I play to prevent you from being able to do what your deck wants. So I'm that jerk. Every group needs one. Analyzing a deck really just comes with card knowledge. 162. Okay, ordering a display of Worlds Collide is the best set to buy a box for. I would say if you're buying boxes, definitely buy Worlds Collide or Mass Mutation. They are the two, in my opinion, strongest sets right now. Call of the Archons can still do amazing things. The deck that I just played was a Call of the Archons deck. Age of Ascension, I'm not really a fan of that set as a whole, But that's not to say there aren't great Age of Ascension decks. Shannon wants to see the beard? Alright, hold on. Hold that thought, Mana Dork. I've got to appease Mark's wife. I've got it in a braid today. Or I'll take it out. I'm very Viking. I'd say it's probably like, I don't know, I'm kind of at my terminal length. My beard doesn't want to grow much farther than this. So I've been debating just trimming and cleaning it up. Not quite sure when or how I'm going to do that, but I don't want to give a length because I've not measured it, but you know, it's pretty comfortable. It gets stuck on Goober when she cuddles me. She pins my face to my chest. Let's see, 2 AOA, 2 Coda, 2 WCs. I totally derailed myself. What was I talking about? Oh, analyzing a deck comes from card knowledge. So there's a... Yeah, I mean, I've got poof over here. Stretch my face. I definitely need to hit the barber, but you know, COVID and money. Analyzing a deck is pretty rough. I have a hard time analyzing a deck from its list. And I consider myself a competitive veteran player. I've been playing since the pre-release of the first set of Keyforge. So my knowledge of the card pool is pretty great, not the best, but I can generally look at card art and tell you what the card is or what it does, or do the same by the name. At the very least, I can tell you what type of card a card is by its name. So I can look at a list and get a good spread of, okay, a deck's got X amount of creatures, X amount of artifacts, actions, and upgrades. Knowing how those cards interact, my brain, I'm a very visual learner. So for me personally, I have to see a deck in action to see its crazy cool combos. What I generally do when I'm learning a deck is I play 5 games with it, and every game I try and play it differently. And generally by the end of those 5 games, I will have a really good look at what's it trying to do, where are its weaknesses, where is its strength, what's its main strategy. So there's, like the deck I just played, Slug Daughter, the Ruler Chief. It primarily, I want with that deck to control the board, and then when I have no controlling left to do, I reap. There are other decks that don't ever want to fight. They only want to reap, or they only want to play cards. So knowing what the card or the deck's strategy is also an important thing. Oh yeah, so having not played any of the other games you played, did you say you played Magic? Yeah, Magic the Gathering. So the transition to Magic, from Magic the Gathering to Keyforge, is difficult, especially when people in their brain know, like, hey, Richard Garfield designed Magic. Keyforge should be pretty easy for me to learn. Totally different game. You're looking at the hard thing for Magic the Gathering players that I've seen in person and heard stories about. The hard thing for them to adjust to is reaping. So fighting makes sense. Magic the Gathering, you're fighting, you're trying to kill your opponent. Reaping, if you can't fight, like in my last game, I think I had 12 creatures on the board with nothing to fight. I reaped with 6 or 7 creatures, got 6 or 7 amber. Fighting at its core does not win you a game. The goal of Keyforge, of forge 3 keys, well, the faster you can gain amber, the faster you can forge keys, the faster you can win. Temple Control Prison decks. Yeah, so it sounds like you play a same style as me. you'd be more of a disruption player in Keyforge. So those, you're not going to want to hear this. Those are harder decks to play. Amber Rush can be pretty complicated, but Amber Rush decks are generally pilot themselves, and the more knowledge you have of cards and card base, the more tricky things you can do to amplify your Amber gain. But generally, Rush are pretty easy for newer players to pick up, but hard to master, if that makes sense. As Mark just said, tempo in Keyforge is crucial. Being able to know when to push, when to put the brakes on, when to control. Those are the really intricate things that you learn the more games you get. And it's one of those things you just can't know outright. You might have better experience with all your card game experience, but knowing the crucial decision points in Keyforge, those are what I've found decent or okay players transition into great players as they learn how to manipulate the tempo of the game and go from falling behind to have a crazy come from behind victory. Or even if they don't win, to really make their opponent sweat it out and realize, oh shit, I might lose. What was I gonna do? I don't remember what I was gonna do. I just love talking about Keyforge, so I just nerded out there for like 20 minutes. It is a little farther than halfway through my stream, so I like to take a break. I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna get something new to drink, but I will be back. For everyone watching, I'm counting 6 viewers, maybe a little more. I'm gonna pop up my BRB screen, and I will be back in about 5 minutes, and hopefully I come back to a new challenger. I can point to it now. It's scrolling across. Just type !fight and challenge me to a match. And I hope in a couple minutes to come back to someone who's challenged me with a fun format. So catch you soon. All right, kiddos, I'm back. I'm gonna see what I missed. Ooh, oh, we're talking about Keyforge content creators. Oh man, Orion could go on for days. Content creators. So, Bouncing Death Quark is a good podcast. I think they also do YouTube videos. I don't know if they stream. The ones that I do know of that stream, Tabletop Royale. They stream Keyforge and the Marvel LCG. Tabletop Royale is really great to see. They remind me of myself because, not that I'm a Vault Tour winner, I only top 16, but both of them are Vault Tour winners, and they still just fuck around and just absolutely make mistakes when they're playing. They attest to the streamer plight. Uh-oh. I mean, we're gonna get into linguistics here. Brian is the Scottish way, which is the traditional way to spell the name. Bryan is a bastardized version from Scotland that got moved to England because in England at that time, they did not believe that the I should make that sound. That was actually a Y in their alphabet. So, you know, my name's the hipster spelling. TTR is great content. They're really cool guys. They've helped me a lot actually set up parts of my stream, so they're helpful as well. Crazy Killing Machine is like a collection of people. They co-op with a few other streams. They co-op with Keyforge Premier League, or KPL. That's run by Jupiter. He's an awesome guy. Anyone looking to get into the game, absolutely find Jupiter through Keyforge Premier League. He is probably the biggest community advocate for helping the game grow. So if you can get in touch with him, he can be willing to run games with you on TCO to help you learn, help you better learn and look at your decks to see what they can and can't do. He's an awesome resource. Then there's me, the Crystal Hive. I stream. I do not broadcast a podcast. I do post my VODs from stream to YouTube, but my VODs for followers and subscribers are always available on Twitch anyway. So you can find me on Twitch or YouTube. YouTube, I don't post any content lately. I probably won't. It's just too much work for me. I don't have enough time to dedicate to video editing. Like I said, Bouncing Death Quark is a great podcast. Bouncing Death Quark really started... you're a mix of the two. The Bouncing Death Quark started around the same time that I started the Crystal Hive, so a couple years ago. Who else do we have for content? There's Team SAS, who are the people behind Decks of Keyforge. Going through my list here, I'm going to open my Discord because I've got quite a few Keyforge channels there. There's TCO just has their own Discord, so if you join the Crucible Discord, I think that might be Patreon exclusive, so you might have to subscribe. I think they have tiers at $1 and $5 a month. Or $3 and $5. Little sneak peek for everyone in the stream tonight. I'm going to be opening my own Discord. I think next week I'm making it go live, so I'll have my own Discord as well. Other content creators, if you want written content, that was the one I was thinking about. Time Shapers. I'm gonna write that in chat. Time Shapers is by another Vault Tour winner, Aurora, and she's a phenomenal player and writes like really in-depth like game theory articles. So if you like some more in-depth competitive type written articles, check out Time Shapers. Who else makes Keyforge content? Mortivis. You'd be mad if I don't shout him out. Mortivis is a frequent of this channel, usually on Saturdays. He just hangs out. He makes his own Keyforge content as well. I'm running out of names here. Orion's the Keyforge content guru. Let me see who else we got. I know there was the Wild Wormhole. See, like when I can see the names, I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Yeah, so Help from Future Self, Call of Discovery is run by Zach, or at least co-run by Zach. Zach is awesome. I met Zach, I think he was at the Denver Vault Tour. I might just have been talking to him a lot online, but Zach's awesome. Does a lot of commentating for online events. Archon's Corner is great. Sanctimonious. I've not listened to Sanctimonious, so that's why that one escaped me, but I am aware that they exist. I don't listen to a ton of Keyforge podcasts. My podcast list is pretty full. I know, Mark. Of all the people that know me, I love fucking baseball caps. Like, I think I have 20 something baseball caps. They don't have any baseball caps through the service that I'm using to make merch. I've requested it, so hopefully they're coming, but I've got mouse pads, coffee mugs, t-shirts, pullover hoodies, stickers, and Samsung line phone cases. So next on the list are hats, and I'm hoping for socks as well. It'd be awesome to have some purple business socks that just have the Crystal Hive on it. I do know that people play over webcam. People play over FaceTime and Skype. I know that Mark Orion and I have at times played over Facebook video chat, and it's a little wonky. It gets the difficulty of not being able to truly see the cards, but if you're okay with talking your opponents through what card is where, it works just well. I said that and I was hoping people missed it, but you know, I don't filter myself. I mean, my dad jokes I was born with a baseball bat in my hand, so I am a baseball lover through and through. And have a bunch of faux pas where I just say the wrong thing at the wrong time. Let's see. As of right now, myself and Jupiter with Keyforge Premier League are the only live streams. But we're looking at, oh man. Yeah, I love the hoodie. I have a whole swag bag that I ordered for myself. So I've got a shirt, a hoodie, a mouse pad, a coffee mug, and a sticker on its way. And I guess it's a good chance for me to talk about the swag. Some people have commented that they're a little turned off on the idea because the shipping delay. I think it says up to 20 days. The delay in the 20 days, excuse me, includes fabrication. So from the time you order it, all of these items are made to order, so that they're not just printed in mass and waiting in a a shop somewhere. They are made at the point you order them. So part of that delay is they're actually making the product for you, and then the rest of it is shipping and processing. See, I don't have, for baseball, I don't have cable, and I don't want to pay for the MLB TV network because it's like, for a year, it's like $90. Like, no. But when I can, if I ever get cable TV, which is probably no, or when I can financially afford the MLB network, TV or my computer will always be playing a baseball game. I'm originally from the Chicago area, so Cubs all the way. Occasionally the Brewers, but definitely a Cubs fan. Anyway, for all kinds of Keyforge content, I'm gonna stick to the streams that I know stream in English. So we've got Tabletop Royale, we've got Keyforge Online Team Events, or COTE as they pronounce it, but I pronounce it COTE. They stream in Polish, I believe, but the Can't Touch This Keyforge team, they're based out of Poland, but I believe they do speak English in some of their streams. We've got Prime Cut Games. I'm just going through my whole list. Mortivis, Time Shapers. I'm digging deep into my archives here. Lavinous Twitch. Keyfrogs, that's another one, the Keyfrogs. And that's the majority of the English-speaking streams that I'm aware of. There's some French streams, there's some Spanish streams, some Italian streams. Uh-oh, 39 messages were deleted. Oh man, I'm sorry about that, Manadork. Yep, I forgot to, uh-oh. You're in a containment field. Let me fix that. Give me a second. Though the good news is my moderator bot is working. I just have it set on semi-aggressive commands here. Oh geez, you're timed out for 5 minutes. Okay, let me... Let's save that. My mod just totally killed chat. Man, and it deleted all of his messages too. So I'm gonna make the assumption you're still watching, Manadork. I turned the link filter off. I had it set where someone has to be a viewer of my stream for 5 hours total before they can post a link, but I turned that off. I cannot cancel the timeout. So after a total of 5 minutes, you should be able to chat again. So I apologize about that. In the meantime, since I killed chat completely, I am going to go through some more spoilers. So we're just gonna cheer everything up here a little bit. Did it kick you out too? It says it deleted 39 messages and that Manadork was kicked out for 300 seconds. I didn't get a notice that you got kicked out of chat though, Mark. So it's probably just your shitty internet because you live in the middle of nowhere. Not really, though. You live in a more populated area than I do. But anyway, so I'm gonna pop over here. Let's do some more spoilers. We're gonna start on some of the Sanctum spoilers here. So we've got Larry of the Lake. This is an evil twin card. Sanctum creature, evil twin, human and knight traits. Power 3, no armor. And has a tide effect. While the tide is high, Larry of the Lake gets 5 armor. I don't like the wording of that. I don't like the wording of that at all. That's not consistent with previous sets. Previous sets would say while the tide is high, Larry of the Lake gains 5 armor, or would say while the tide is high, Larry of the Lake has 5 armor. But whatever, they're making attempts to try and unify their templating, so I guess that's okay. This feels okay. I wouldn't say I'm super impressed by this card, but I also don't hate it. Low tide, this card's obviously just going to be meh, but high tide, this could be a pretty crucial fighting card because it won't take damage most of the time. Most fight targets are 4 and 5 power. The art is okay. I'm not a huge fan of the art, but Seneschal Sargassa. There's no text available, but I can look at the art at least, and that art is beautiful. I love that art. I'm gonna have to see if they make that into a playmat. Dry the River is a Sanctum artifact. It's a power trait. Each creature gains yeah, my bot fucking obliterated you. Did you try and share a link? Is that what you did? At least that's what it says you tried to do. Sorry, Dry the River is a artifact for Sanctum. It's a power trait. It has an effect relative to tide, so each creature gains while the tide is low. This creature cannot reap. Huh. That's cool, actually. I love that. That's a rare, so that feels like it should be a rare card. Because that is a... That card forces the mechanic, so if I've got a non-Dark Tidings deck, so I don't have actions or creatures or anything that would innately raise or lower the tide, this card would make it... this card would make it where I would have to take the tide and the 3 chains in order to reap with my board. So that's interesting. I like that. Oh, I didn't know you could link MLB TV to Amazon. I might have to do that because I do have Amazon Prime. But yeah, putting the MLB.TV together, boom, you got containment fielded. Especially good. Yeah, I mean, some of these Tide cards really are relevant to whether... I won't even say it's set exclusive, but Coda definitely has the brunt of play action and Amber Pip production. So Coda definitely... I mean, I have a deck, Lightsmith Clarielle, that doesn't have a ton of bonus pips, but it's got Hunting Witches and Flaxias and Nature's Call and all the Amber gain. I don't need to reap, truly. So Dry the River may not have a great matchup against those style of decks, but a deck that needs to keep people on the board, this artifact is absolutely meant to combat that. Where are we going? Harmonic Ritual. We've got a Sanctum action, Amber Pip on it. Play effect. Choose a friendly creature. If its left neighbor shares a house with it. Excuse me. If its left neighbor shares a house with it, gain 1 amber and repeat this effect on that creature. Okay. So this is making it so you want your battle line to have a huge line to the left of creatures from the same house, which to some other house effects. So I'm thinking of, I'm still thinking of Logos, the group think tanks, or the mini group think tank and the group think tank. This would line you straight up into being targets for those cards. But for a large creature deck that has a lot of creatures in the same house, this is a pretty cool card effect. Artwork, I'm not too impressed by the artwork. It's just a bunch of pious guys holding hands, singing Kumbaya. But we're looking at, what else? Lightsmith Clarielle. So this is a, I can't tell, it looks like Portuguese. The art is pretty cool though. I really like that art. It's like in a light prism. But let's see, let's hover over and get the English text. So 5 power, 2 armor, considered an angel trait. It's a creature. Before fight, you may swap the power and armor values of Lightsmith Clarielle for the remainder of the turn. Huh. So innately he's a 5/2, so you can make him a 2/5. And I could see situations where that might matter, like fighting against a poison creature. Generally, poison creatures don't have high power. They just want to... Cool, it is in Portuguese, I guessed right. Poison creatures generally just want to ping away at someone because they don't need to do a ton of damage. They just need to get that poison past armor. So you could swap that value to block all that damage with your armor and then still kill a poison creature without taking damage yourself. There's other cool potential for that, so I like this card design. It's a rare as well. Very unique effect. We've not seen that in Keyforge yet. But now we're doing Trial by Water. So Sanctum, bonus Ember. It's an action. Has a tide-related effect. So on play, reset the tide. Until the start of your next turn, players cannot raise the tide. So this brings together a interesting mechanic with tide that I think people are going to skip over in the rules because people don't like to read, especially rule books. If you go, yeah, or if you're fighting the Ardent Hero that you quickly learned how much he can suck in our matches earlier this week. Yeah, that would be another situation where you could swap the power so you can ping away at the Ardent Hero. Mechanics wise for Dark Tidings, the game starts with tide at neutral. The game does not randomly decide who has high or who has low tide. The tide card, let me just pull that up. So the tide card is double-sided. If anyone's ever played the card game The Agents, it was a Kickstarter project. It's actually a really fun game. All the cards are double-sided, so I get an effect for what's facing me, and whoever I play the card against gets an effect for what's facing them. The tide is similar. So if I've got high tide, my opponent has low tide, and vice versa. The game starts, this will be tapped. So no one has high tide, no one has low tide. It's just water exists. So the game starts there. That's the reset level. So what the previous card I was looking at, Trial by Water. So Trial by Water will return the tide to that neutral point, and until the start of my next turn, so my opponent then doesn't gain any benefit on tide effects either. So for games against other dark tiding sets, this is a really good card. We don't know exactly the impact that these tide effects are going to have, but at rare, I'm going to give it to the designers and say that they have done plenty of testing, as well as the playtest teams, to know that this played at the right time can have a pretty monumental change on your opponent if they're playing a Dark Tidings deck. If they're not playing a Dark Tidings deck, your opponent doesn't give a shit that you played that card. Gormavam, I don't need to go over that. That's been in previous sets. It looks like they just jazzed up the art a little bit. Orphiel Seas Chosen. It is a creature, human monk, it looks like. Get back there. Yep, human monk, unknown power because it's covered, but 0 armor. Excuse me. While the tide is high, Orphiel Seas Chosen gains skirmish and fight gain something. I'm gonna read into this picture a little bit. I wonder if that fight effect is fight gain award, which if that is true, that's a really good card. So you're gonna fight with skirmish, and this is all while tide is high. You're gonna fight with skirmish and ward yourself before the fight. So you could fight into a hazardous creature and survive. You could fight into a poison creature and survive. Skirmish would help you with the poison anyway, but if that is what the text is, that's a really cool effect. Bulwark, we've already seen in the last set. The non-evil twin version of Larry of the Lake. Power 3, Human Knight, 0 armor, it's a creature. While the tide is high, each friendly creature gets +2 armor. Excuse me. Kind of a, what is that, Abon the Armorsmith? Kind of a different rendition of Abon the Armorsmith. Abond only adds +1, but generally what Fantasy Flight does, at least with Keyforge design, if there's an added condition for trigger, then they up the effect. So since now this requires that the tide be high, that would be why he's giving +2 armor instead of the +1 that Abond gives, because Abond's a 3/0. Or is he a 3/1? He might be a 3/1, but he only gives 1 armor to all other creatures. All other friendly creatures. I'm getting tired of reading spoilers. Not that I'm tired of looking at spoilers, but someone should challenge me. You should, let me get it so where you can actually see the scroller. I can't really get a good spot. But yeah, look at the scroller over there. Type fight, exclamation fight. Challenge me to a match of your choice. Any format, any type of deck. Last week, Mark challenged me to a reversal format with our best decks and beat me. So I have the better deck. But it was funny because those decks were so similar. Earlier tonight, Orion challenged me to a 64 SAS match. Sorry to say it, but I swept the floor with him. Got some really lucky Ember Imp plays and was able to lock him out of playing more than 2 cards. And then I just kept killing the board. Continuing on, I've got 2 more Sanctum. I've got Marshal Ewer. Creature, power 4, 2 armor, spirit and knight traits. Has a tide effect of play/fight, raise the tide. So he can definitely help you keep the high tide if your deck wants it. Weird perspective on the card. At first I was like, where are his legs? I see them, they're like right here, but it kind of looks like a fisheye lens, but then there's no morphing on the edges. My eye sees perspective really delicately or really intricately, so I'm a little put off by the fact that these aren't morphed. None of this is morphed, but there's an extreme top-down angle on this creature without that same perspective being applied back here. So not a fan of the art. I like the play and fight effect. And Tax Pilgrimage. This is a Polish card. I remember seeing this art. So it's a Sanctum action with a bonus amber pip on it. Read the English part. On play, a friendly creature captures 1 amber. Each neighbor of that creature that shares a house with that creature also captures 1 amber. Okay, so you can capture up to 3. That's not bad. It plays right into the Sanctum playstyle of capture. I do like that it gives you a bonus amber pip, because sometimes you're going to play this at most for 1 amber, or sorry, 1 capture. So getting that extra amber pip on it makes it more likely to be played versus just being discarded. Cool. I've gone through Logos and Sanctum tonight so far. You're fine. You're fine. When you get more acclimated with TCO, I will give you trial by fire online and kick your ass. Gotta turn off notifications here. I would just join some random games going on, but every single game that's posted right now has a password lock on it. It's 7:25. So why is he telling us what time it is? Let's say if I don't have a challenger by 7:35, so 10 minutes, I'm gonna do an early closing to the stream. So because I don't want a challenger to come like at 7:50 and then we're stuck in a 30-minute game. So at 7:35, can I do a quick countdown? I'm gonna see if I set this up right. Nope. Did not set it up right. I'll fix that. I follow in the same thought process. I think that the best way to learn is to just sit on the opposite side of the table from someone who is light years and miles better than you, and just for the first couple games, just try and watch what they do, let them kick your ass, and as you're playing, ask those questions of, okay, why did you do that instead of just reaping with what you have on the board? Or why did you choose to play a board clear at that time? Why are you not forging, or why did you play that card versus a different one that I know you have because I saw your hand from a card I played? Being able to ask those questions in the middle of a game, I know it's helped me just to be able to talk even to just local players that I have no idea how good or bad they are. It's just first time I've played them, and if we're playing casually, I'm like, do you mind if I ask you a question? Why did you do that instead of just reaping? Why did you choose to fight my entire board right now when you know that I'm just going to now board clear? So being able to ask those questions are really helpful. I remember so full disclosure, I almost quit Keyforge at the start. And I almost quit because I left Game of Thrones, the card game version, or second edition. I stopped playing that game because locally it died. When the game came out, and I'm talking about Game of Thrones card game second edition, when that game came out, we had 7 or 8 players regularly every week that would show up at the game store. And within a month, that dropped down to about 5. After a couple more weeks of that, it dropped down to about 3, and then went to 2. So locally, comfortably I can say within the first 6 months of that game being local, we went from 8 players to 2. Then the fun happened of that other player that wasn't me, every week decided to build a deck that completely countered the deck that I liked to play the previous week. So if I said anything like, oh man, I really like this Greyjoy deck, he would build a deck that would 100% counter the House Greyjoy. So then I had to build another deck, and I'd say, oh man, I really like this Stark deck. He'd build a deck that would completely counter Stark. And it just got to a point where it was just unfun because I could not play locally for fun. I had to build competitive just to beat this guy's ego. Biggest guy I've ever known with the tiniest fragile ego I've ever met. So I left that game because I wasn't having fun anymore, and conveniently around that same time, Star Wars Destiny started. Got into Star Wars Destiny, loved it, gradually went to go hate it because as you watch my streams, my luck is terrible. So I love games that reward skill over luck. In Keyforge, you're going to have the element of luck. In any card game, you've got card draw to account for. In Keyforge, you can generally mitigate that by how you play, but you can also generally mitigate that by finding decks that have high efficiency, so high draw rates, high archive rates. So I left Destiny. I know Star Wars Destiny got formally killed off by Fantasy Flight about 8 months ago. It was within COVID, but murmurs of it happened before COVID-19. So I stopped playing about a year and a half before the game was formally canceled. And I left Star Wars Destiny to come play Keyforge. Fell in love with Keyforge immediately. I thought it was an awesome game design. The concept was great. The fact that I'm not going to face the same bullshit deck over and over and over again. That was another thing about Game of Thrones 2nd Edition. For, I want to say 5 sets in a row. Every month was a new pack. It was an LCG. 5 sets in a row, it was play Lannister or lose. Play Lannister or lose. Play Lannister or lose. So, and it was almost always the same style of deck too. So I love that Keyforge is never going to publish all the hundreds of decks that I own are never going to be printed again. So out of a collector's mindset, that's cool. I don't play games out of a collector's mindset. I don't look at a deck and say like, oh, I need this card to finish my collection. All of that coming to modern day, the transition to playing Keyforge. I almost quit Keyforge, not because of the game. I'm going to make that clear. Not because of the game design, not because of the people I was playing with. All the people locally are amazing. I live in a very great area for friendly local game stores. I almost quit because my first 50 games, kid you not, I won one. And my first 50 games, I only won one. And that little voice in the back of your head starts going, maybe you're just not good at this game. Why are you wasting all your money and time trying to be good? You just suck. And so and that was during Call of the Archons. I almost quit within a month or two of release of the game because I was so bad. And then I went to people are going to laugh who watch my stream normally because this contradicts everything I stand for right now. I went to a sealed event in about half hour away, and I went undefeated. I think I went, 5-0? And I was like, oh, not only am I good, but I'm pretty good. And from that point on, it rekindled my ability. I'm like, maybe I wasn't understanding the game properly. I was approaching it with the wrong mindset. And after that tournament, torches were lit again. I was fired up. I was ready to go. So just 49 games of getting my ass handed to me. It was my trial by fire of watch everything you're not understanding, and now you can look back and reflect on it, and you can see that you've learned so much as a player. And within the first year and a half of Keyforge, I went from getting my ass handed to me for 50 games straight, 49 games, to top 16ing at a Vault Tour. So it is absolutely a game, Keyforge, that rewards you for playing. It rewards you for how many times you play, because then you just get to see that many more combos, that many more cards. Oh god, I hate Keyforge. I hate Keyforge's sealed format so much. I won't get on my bandstand or my soapbox about it, but I think sealed is a great format. I'm gonna set that straight. I think Keyforge has a really great sealed format. I think the format is awesome. I personally do not like sealed because I, for some reason, somehow always get the turd of the box, and through, I'm gonna take onus on this, or responsibility, I guess is a better word. I make play mistakes. First time I'm playing a deck, first couple times I play a deck, I make play mistakes and I don't see the right play lines for that deck. But when you make play mistakes and you also have one of the worst decks in the box, you just get your ass kicked and it doesn't feel good. You wasted $10 on a shitty deck you're never gonna play again. And you don't even get prize support because you don't make the top cut, or you get the participation prizes, yay, that everyone and their grandmother gets, but you don't learn anything. You don't get a good deck that you can brag about. I don't need to win those tournaments, but just making the top cut or finishing midfield feels great. 1-star peeps, I am more likely to play multiple deck sealed formats. So a single deck format, I rarely ever pay to play those. I will play them on mine because it's just free to play. You hit sealed, go. You'll never have to touch that deck again. But pay to play sealed it needs to be a multiple deck sealed format for me, because I need to mitigate my draw luck. Mark and Orion and Goober can all attest to my in-person absolute trash luck in finding good sealed decks. Even in the I'm blanking on the Keyforge Premier League qualifier, number 4 was a sealed format, and you got one deck from each set, and then you picked one deck and played it through the whole tournament. Shit you not, I got my list of 4 decks and I almost dropped immediately because my highest, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, SAS scores don't tell you truly everything about a deck, but my highest deck was a 61 SAS. I think I had a 61, I think I had 2 59s, and then I had like a 47 or something, maybe a 50. Yeah, thanks, Mark. I have some of the worst luck ever when it comes to drawing cards, or drawing decks in sealed format. Even digitally, I got absolute turds. And that's luck of the draw, but which I can't remember who said it. Yeah, I can't even guess who said it, but someone has told me the fact that I have that bad of luck, and I mean, watching my streams too, you'll see me hit 2-2-2 hands like crazy, and 3-2-1s, and or I'll just draw into a handful of actions and my opponent drops a stealth mode they just drew. My luck is pretty bad, and someone said even with that luck, the fact that I'm able to have decks that have above 70% win rates, which I have, I think, about 3. Those are my competitive go-tos. Having decks with that win rate, even with my absolute atrocious luck, attests to the fact that I know the game well. Not that I'm the best player by any means, but it showcases that I know what I'm doing, and I tend to make pretty aggressive plays, but I generally know when to make those big plays versus not. And sometimes when you have bad luck like I do, those plays can pay off. Sometimes they make the game worse. But I would not wish my luck on anyone, even my worst enemies. I'm not a vengeful or facetious. Well, I'm very facetious, but I'm not a vengeful person. I don't wish my luck on anybody. I've learned to live with it. So I'll keep it and I'll just complain about it. But I am it's been almost 15 minutes and no challenger. Wah, 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 wah. So I am going to hop off stream early and yeah, oh my god, Star Wars Destiny was something else. The last formal tournament I played in was Star Wars Destiny. I was playing a mill deck because mill was viable at the time. It was top tier, I would argue. And I was playing the creature duo that was doing the character duo that was doing the best. When performing average, that deck could mill my opponent in about 6 to 8 turns. In that tournament, I think I milled someone once and they killed me on the same turn, which the mill condition is the absolute last game end check, so I still lost. I don't think I rolled discard sides on my dice for like 3 or 4 turns every game, and my dice were at 50% chances to hit those, so there was parts, I think Goober Buddy could attest to it too. I was arguing that I just need to learn to roll dice better because there's something I'm doing that wasn't working. or that I'm rolling them too randomly. I need to learn to fudge my dice, but obviously I didn't because I quit the game. But I am going to hop off stream here, wrap things up for the night. I will be back tomorrow at noon Mountain Time for live play, me just grinding through stuff. I'll probably be testing some more low 60s just to see what I can put together for the Kote tournament this week. And with that, as always, the Crystal Hive. When it comes to Keyforge, when in doubt, reap it out. Take care and see everyone tomorrow.